And the problem that most women are dealing with right now that is preventing them from moving forward is actually digestive issues. It's, the liver is also a big part of it, but before you can even fix the liver, you have to fix digestion. Because if your digestion is not working properly, then you can't eat the foods that your liver needs. And you're going to end up with acid reflux and gas and bloating and constipation and urgency until you get your digestion fixed. So that is what we are going to be working on today, is really understanding how to fix your digestion so that you can eat the foods that you need to heal your body, to heal your liver, to lose weight. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, if you are dealing with acid reflux, gas and bloating, loose stools, or constipation, if you're dealing with any of those issues, then you have some digestive problems that we need to get fixed before you can move on. Because if your digestive chemistry is off, we have to support proper digestion first so that you can absorb the nutrients from your food, so you can have more energy, so we can calm inflammation, so we can lower your autoimmune risk, and so you can lose weight. Because before you can heal your body, before you can lose weight, you have to have your digestion working properly. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's just start with, how does digestion work? So when we think about digestion, we think it starts in our stomach, but it actually starts with our brain, actually in the way that we think. It's called the cephalic phase of digestion. It's the way that we think about food. And when we think about food, it starts our digestive process. So when we think about food, it starts making our mouth salivate. And we start it starts getting our digestive system online. It starts firing up the engine of digestion. So thinking about food is actually the first part of digestion. The next step is chewing your food. So mixing your food with saliva, chewing it down, breaking it down, is really important because it helps to stimulate stomach acids. It helps your stomach get ready to receive that food. It helps to start breaking down that food so that it is more easily absorbed by your body. And it just helps you to enjoy your food so that it's an enjoyable process. And it helps relax your nervous system so that you can go into rest and digest mode instead of fight or flight mode. The next stage is stomach acid. So stomach acid gets introduced when you swallow the food and it goes into your stomach. Then the stomach acid has some very important jobs. Number one, it kills bacteria, pathogen, mold, anything that comes into your stomach that we don't want. So the stomach acid is going to help to kill that. And it also starts breaking down your food along with something called pepsin. So we start breaking down protein, we start digesting the food in the stomach, and it gets ready for the next phase. So your stomach it makes stomach acid. And the acid level that it needs is extremely acidic. Think the most acidic thing you can think of, something that could remove paint. We need really strong stomach acid. And if it's not strong enough, what's going to happen is that flapper, the sphincter at the top of your stomach, is not going to close. So then you can get acid reflux. So contrary to what they tell you, that acid reflux is from too much stomach acid, it's actually from not enough. We need really strong stomach acid to close that flapper at the top of the stomach. And if you have low stomach acid, if it's not strong enough, you're going to have bloating, you're going to have burping after you eat, you're going to have gas, and potentially constipation. So we really want to make sure that we have strong stomach acid. The next step of digestion that's where bile comes in. That's my love. I love bile. I'm so fascinated and obsessed with bile. Bile is so important because it is the detergent. So it helps to mix with the stomach acid. The stomach releases that food, that chyme, so that bolus of food, goes into the small intestine, and that's where, if you have a gallbladder, it squirts bile. If you don't have a gallbladder, then your liver is dripping bile into the small intestine, and that's where that acidified food mixes with bile and it neutralizes it along with some bicarb from the pancreas. So bile also helps kill bacteria. Whatever the stomach didn't kill, then bile is going to kill bacteria, mold, parasites, any kind of vermin that we don't want in our bodies. It's a detergent, so it helps to break up fats. It helps to bind toxins like heavy metals and other things that we don't want. And it helps to lubricate the colon. If it's low, so there's a couple problems that we can have with bile. If your bile is low, you can end up with things like SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. We can get overgrowth of things that we don't want in our small intestine. You can get gas and bloating and constipation. If you have dripping bile, so if you no longer have gallbladder, which is the majority of everyone that follows me, if it's dripping bile into the small intestine, that can create some problems. It can irritate the colon, so if it doesn't have food to mix with, then that bile drip can be irritating that digestive lining, and then your body responds by flushing, by pushing water in to dilute it, so you can get loose stools and you can get urgency from that. Or you could get bile acid malabsorption, where the bile is not getting recycled. So it's like you're getting too much bile pooling and it's not getting recycled back into the liver. I'm going to tell you how to solve all these problems in the second part of this video, so just hang with me. The next part of digestion is where enzymes come in, and this is where the pancreas is going to squirt enzymes into the small intestine with the food from the stomach and with the bile. And this is very, very important because the enzymes help to cut up the carbs, the proteins, and the fats into very small little bits, into molecules that your body can then absorb. Because if we're eating these foods, your body needs to break it down into the very smallest elements so that it can be absorbed and reused. Like, it's pretty amazing when you think about, like, just take a minute and think about how we eat food and somehow that food becomes the molecules in our bodies. It becomes part of the cells. It becomes part of the tissues. How does our body convert, like, beef into proteins that our body uses to make muscles and to repair cells and our immune system and brain health and neurotransmitters? Like, that's a pretty amazing process. So just give it some appreciation for what our body does, and maybe that will help you to understand why you need to support your body a little bit more. If you don't have enough enzymes, you can end up with, again, gas and bloating because the food is fermenting. Instead of it getting broken down, it's getting fermented. And if you have leaky gut and those undigested food bits get into your bloodstream, then your immune system activates and you can get an autoimmune condition. So we really need to be supporting our digestion because more and more people are getting autoimmune disorders, and that's where our immune system is inadvertently attacking our own tissues because we have all these undigested food bits floating around. And then the next step of digestion is where the food goes into the small intestine. It's in there. There's 3 parts of the small intestine, but that's where a lot of the elemental parts of food are being absorbed. And then the food passes into the large intestine, and that's where your good bacteria and your microbiome is, where food is further broken down, and those bacteria are making, like, they're eating the foods, and they're producing little chemical elements that our body needs, such as butyrate, which is really important for mental health, all kinds of important things that are going on in that large intestine that are beneficial to us. Okay, so that's how digestion works. Now let's talk about how we are going to fix these problems. Because like I said, when you want to heal your liver, when you want to lose weight, you got to eat more protein. You got to eat more cruciferous vegetables and foods with some fiber. But if you can't break that food down and you're dealing with gas and, burping after meals, or acid reflux, or bloating and gas, or constipation, loose stools, it makes you not want to eat those foods. So it's not that the foods are the problem. It's that we need to get our digestive system working better. So let's talk about how we're going to do that. So there's 4 main problems, and I'm going to teach you how to solve those 4 main problems depending on what you're dealing with. So let's start with the highest, most upstream problem, which is acid reflux or burping after meals. So if you're doing a lot of burping after meals or you have acid reflux, that's a really big sign that you have low stomach acid, that you don't have enough stomach acid. So how we need to address this is, number 1, the thyroid. Number 2, the liver, which you can take my 28-day liver revival. Number 3 is we want to improve our stomach acid And number 4, we really want to support our nervous system in that rest and digest mode that we need to be in. So a lot of reasons that women have low stomach acid is you're super stressed out, you're running around all the time, and you're in like fight or flight mode all the time. And that means your body is prioritizing your large muscle groups rather than digestion. So before you eat, you want to just take some time to calm down, to do some slow breathing. You want to chew your food really well. And then even take a 5-minute, like lay down for 5 minutes and just let your body digest. Don't think that you're not doing anything. I know you have a million things to do, but you need to just let your body switch into that rest and digest mode. Now the thyroid. So if your thyroid is downregulated, which it probably is because most women have been cutting carbs, cutting calories, keto, fasting, intermittent fasting, and that is downregulating your thyroid. And if your thyroid is downregulated, your digestion is downregulated, and so is your stomach acid. So we need to slowly start eating more carbohydrates and calories because carbohydrates, contrary to what you're seeing out there, are very important for your metabolism. Not just processed foods carbs, talking about fruits and potatoes, sweet potatoes and rice, and those kind of carbs are very important to your metabolism and your thyroid. So eat about every 3 to 4 hours, 300 to 400 calories, and you want to slowly increase your food over time. You actually want to push your metabolism higher. So you're eating more foods slowly. So if you're down in the 1200 calorie range, that's not enough food for your body, even 1500 calories. You probably need to be somewhere around 1800 or higher. And so, that might feel like a lot of food. So you just want to go slowly and increase your food slowly over time. And if you need help with that, that's what Metabolism Tune-Up can help you do, is to start, it can take you from 1200 calories and it can push you up to a higher calorie limit. And that's where your body can actually start functioning the way it's meant to. And that's where you start losing weight, is when you reverse diet, you get your metabolism up higher so that your body has the energy it needs to do all the things like healing and repair and, helping you be creative and helping you have energy. Okay. And then stomach acid. So you might need to take some stomach acid support while you're working on these other things. So apple cider vinegar before meals, bitters, which is like a little spray or some drops you can get. I get mine at a natural grocery store. You can order it online. Or betaine hydrochloride, which is supplemental stomach acid. And I need this from time to time, so you can take 2 capsules or 4 or more. Now, if you start having more issues from taking betaine hydrochloride, that means you might have a potentially H. pylori infection, which could be the cause of your low stomach acid. So if that's the case, if you take betaine hydrochloride and it's not working, then you may need to get that checked out and find out if you have an H. pylori infection, which is very, very common for women, especially in perimenopause, when our estrogen and progesterone naturally start dropping, and then that can slow down our digestive system and slow down our stomach acid. Okay, number 2, if you're dealing with gas and bloating, a lot of gas, really just uncomfortable, we need to support your stomach acid. So we need to, what I just talked about, and enzymes. So you're going to address the same things that I talked about just prior to this with the acid reflux and the bloating, but you may also need to add some enzymes. And you can do that separately. So you can take like a betaine hydrochloride supplement and an enzyme supplement. Because what's happening is, the food that you're eating is not getting digested, and then it's passing to the small intestine and it's fermenting. Instead of getting broken down, it's fermenting and then producing gas. It's the same way that like they make beer, and we ferment things, like it produces a gas. It's like these bacteria are digesting the food rather than the enzymes, and it's producing either methane or ethane, or ethanol. So do all the things that I just talked about, plus you might need to add enzymes. Now, if you have small bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, that is something that you may need to get checked out by a doctor, because you might need to get an antibiotic for that. And then when you get that taken care of, make sure you're getting enough stomach acid, because the reason you got SIBO was because the stomach acid wasn't killing the germs and the bile wasn't killing the germs. So make sure that you have strong stomach acid support and strong bile support. The next digestive issue, diarrhea, and urgency. Loose stools, urgency, diarrhea. So this is where you don't have a gallbladder, maybe, and your bile is dripping into the small intestine, and it's irritating the small intestine all day long, and then your body is pushing water in there. So you're getting really loose stools, urgency, every time you eat, then you need to go to the bathroom. So what you need to do here is, again, you need to eat every 3 hours because you need to give the bile something to mix with. So it's not just dripping into an empty, that's why you need to stop doing the intermittent fasting and skipping breakfast. You need to eat about every 3 to 4 hours and get at least 300 to 400 calories every 3 to 4 hours. And this should include protein and soluble fiber. So proteins and soluble fiber. So soluble fiber is things like oats and apples and carrots and some chia seeds and flax seeds. So these are the things that are going to help kind of absorb water, make your stools less liquidy so that you don't have such liquidy stools. So the food is going to help give your body something, your digestive system, something to combine, mix with the bile. And then the soluble fiber is going to help thicken up so you don't have those like urgency, the loose stools. Number 4, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, is constipation. And this goes back to low stomach acid and low thyroid. So you're going to want to go back to what I talked about with the low stomach acid and do all those things. You're going to support your thyroid, eating about every 3 to 4 hours, increase your calories and carbohydrates, regulate your nervous system, and try to upregulate your digestive system. We want to push your metabolism higher, eat more calories and carbs so that you have more digestive energy and the motility that's moving your food through is working faster. And you also may need to include apple cider vinegar before meals, bitters, and betaine. So you need to support your stomach acid and support your thyroid so that you have more energy going into your digestive system, and then it's moving the food through instead of it just sitting there and drying out. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. It's very important for you to fix your digestion before you try to do anything else. Like, you can't lose weight if your digestive system's not working. You can't heal your body if your digestive system's not working, because that's how your body takes in the nutrients that you need to heal. So these are the 4 biggest issues with digestive. Now there's other things too. There's like other minor things where I would say minor, more complicated things that you might need to get like one-on-one support from. But this is the basic starting point. And if you do these things, like, these things may seem simple, but I'm telling you, they're going to make a massive, massive difference in how your body breaks down food.